And we're on. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Okay. Where are we set?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Let's put some peach in this collar.
Well, hello there. This is Susan Hamilton, and you're listening to the Offbeat Business Show. And we are so happy to have you popping in here on your lunch hour. I'm going to share with you someone special today. We're talking with JoAnne Marceau as we talk about love all month long, and that's kind of fun because our relationships are really interesting, aren't they? You know, we recognize that who we're talking to. And if you're listening to this show, you are one of the 80% of American small business that are family-owned businesses of 9 employees or less. That means you're building your business while you're raising your kids. You're probably taking care of your parents. You probably have an addict in your workspace or family. And you either have a veteran that is bringing their A game to the table and with their skills and their discipline really helping you shine, or you are helping them while they struggle with reintegration after deployment. Friends, that is us. We are American business. And when we talk to the guests on this show, we are respecting that and giving you 20 minutes of interesting stuff that you can take with you, a light bulb that will turn something on for you today. And I hope you get really excited about what JoAnne Marceau is doing here in the DFW area. Welcome, JoAnne.
Thank you very much, Susan.
Well, this is interesting. So I've run into you a couple of times out and about over the last couple of years.
Yes, in a variety of places. Unexpectedly, too. It's been great.
Well, that's been fun. So tell us a little bit about your company and a little bit about why you might know a thing or two about relationships.
Well, my company name is JoAnne Marceau Coaching, and I work with business people, entrepreneurs, and why I know about relationships is because I'm a coach. And all of our work in life is about relationships. Nothing happens without relationships with each other. And so the quality of our relationships really determines the quality of our family life, the quality of our work life, and the results we get in life.
Yeah, that's so true, and the quality of it. I mean, you can't escape the fact that you have relationships. You're in a relationship all the time. There you are. But in this particular situation that we're in today, we find ourselves, we're not taking our sales training from someone at work that we are accountable to. No, we're taking that from an aunt or an uncle or a sister or a brother. Mm-hmm. It does change the dynamic, the dynamic a little bit as far as how we even just respect the information we're given and how we hold ourselves accountable in a situation, because we're bringing our baggage to the table. It's not just who you are right now in this moment, which we need to be able to do. We need to be able to compartmentalize that. But we don't tend to see each other like that. We see you and everything I know about you every time we see another human being, don't we?
Yeah, we really do. And we also see other human beings through our own filters.
Ah, yes.
So whatever we have experienced before, I'm going to bring that forward and look at you or anybody else through that same filter. So the filter of my past, unless you know that you're doing that, will always come forward, and you'll see another person through your own past experiences. So just know that I like to call them Harrys. You carry them in your bag and you bring them forward whether you know it or not.
You know, that's so true, and actually I discussed that in our January Offbeat Business magazine, where I talk, I've got an article in there on diversity, and my subtitle is A White Woman's Racism Confessional. Because, you know, coming from the north and moving down south as a young teenager and not having been exposed to all the different races and having our own ideas about what those things meant, let alone the first experience we had were horrible. They were absolutely horrible, and they impacted me for years into my adulthood. And you're right, it takes until someone made a comment. Somebody said once, if you look around and all your friends, in your friend group, if you are not associating with people of different colors, you don't realize what you don't know. You do not know that. And developed some relationships that did change my life, and I'm grateful that they did. But you're right, unless you know it, unless you can see it, you're bringing stuff to the table that doesn't belong there, and a lot of it's garbage, and it has to go.
Yes, and it's invisible. So one of the ways that people become aware of it is as you said, exposing yourself to additional other people, other experiences. And the other thing that's really important about that is being curious, realizing that you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
That you don't know you're carrying baggage until you get curious and start to ask, what else am I thinking? Be aware that your thoughts are going a mile a minute, and that you can be aware of your thoughts. And then notice all the little chatter. There's chatter,
Oh, man.
like the hamster wheel chatter going on all the time, and begin to notice that chatter and what serves you well, what's empowering for you, and also what's not empowering for you. And what might be familiar is chatter from the past. So you might hear it repeating over and over again, and usually that's a limiting belief, either about somebody else or about yourself.
I'm curious, JoAnne, as you're saying those things, and I'm recognizing how often people have perceptions. Once somebody changes and is starting to recognize their ability and their authority in a circumstance, and they start taking personal ownership of their own lives and start to move forward, a lot of times the people in their midst really have a difficult time with that, and they don't see them the way that this person starts seeing themselves on the inside. And in a family dynamic like this, in a work dynamic, we don't have time to mess around like that. Everybody should be bringing their A game, but the truth of the matter is we're on a journey, and that A game pops up when we least expect it, and it's good, but not everybody hits that desire to want that at the same time. And meanwhile, you're all working together. And so do you have any suggestions or anything that might help somebody understand how to navigate that space so that people realize that your growth journey doesn't mean you don't love, right? It needs to be perceived non-threatening, and chances are there can be some serious abuse and attacks on that.
Absolutely. By our nature, in our DNA, we don't like to change. We also don't like others around us to change. I have a mentor who says you cannot get out of the boat without rocking it. And so,
I like that. I like that very much. Very good.
And so
Can't
that
get out of the boat without rocking it. Just
it.
chew on that a minute, folks. That's really excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. And so whether it's family members who are resisting your own personal development, your own personal growth, and that could be you're changing because of a new job, or you're changing simply because maybe we've relocated to a new neighborhood, and another person changes just a little bit. It doesn't take a big change to trigger this sense in any of us, something's wrong, and it's ancient.
Something can be improved, right?
Yeah.
There's a hole somewhere, and it's like, you know what, I think this is an area of my life I want to step up and do a little better in.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
The other thing that happens is that we really rise to the people we hang out with, the 5 people we hang
That's
out
very
with
true.
the most. And even if your circle changes, it will change you. Either way, it can go up or it can go down, depending on the circle of people you hang out with and their belief structures and how they speak about life and what's possible for them in life in general.
Yeah, as a young person, I remember thinking that, those relationships are natural gravitational pulls, and you're supposed to have everybody in your life that you have in your life. And that, there's a season for things, sure. I agree that there's a season for certain relationships, but in the long run, you do have to make some serious choices about what you want in this life. I think when you get older, you start realizing, you don't have all the time in the world. What do you want to rise to? And you start doing everything that you can to put the right direction around you.
The way I like to think of it is as a kind of like a solar system.
A what?
A solar system.
A solar system, okay.
And there will be people that are really close to your planet, and there will be people farther away from your planet. And they could change positions because maybe somebody isn't as safe as they used to be anymore. And then you'll meet somebody new as a mentor or a friend, and they will move in closer. And so those seasons can be looked upon as a solar system where people move. A lot of times when we get into difficulty with relationships, it's because mostly because we're not willing to let people it's time to let them move out to a further space from us in the solar system. We're not willing to allow that happen gracefully, and we hang on. And that can really be a source of frustration and disarray especially if one person in the relationship wants to stay safe and close, like it's always been, and the other party, the other person, they're ready to move out a little farther, whether it's romantic relationships or relationships with kids or even in work. And that ability to know that it's okay to let people move in and out of that solar system.
I really like that. I like that, JoAnne, and I like how you really spelled out the difference, because that is true. I recognized that I wasn't good at that as a parent. It was amazing to me. I started to see some issues like that in my life that I really felt like I was navigating pretty well, but I didn't expect everything that ended up happening with my children, and recognizing that those, realizing that those are really good things when it's time for them to go.
Yes.
That wasn't easy for me. I know that sounds ridiculous, right? Because we all think we just want them to go. And I spent 18 years raising these kids thinking, wow, when it's 8, I didn't realize that I just didn't see the long term. I just didn't see it. It was, when this part's over. And what a dumb way to spend your parent. I can tell you, I look back at that and I'm not proud of that, but it's the truth. And when I realized what I was doing, it was pretty late in the game. And, putting those brakes on, then there was that whole situation, which will be interesting because my youngest son, will be coming to work for me probably about the end of the year. And this will be interesting because we'll be learning that dynamic of, wow, the solar system, he was out for a while, now he'll be coming back in. And it's exciting, and I know it's going to represent challenges that we need to be ready for and prepared for. So is that something that you address in your coaching?
Absolutely. That is one of the very familiar concerns that people want to talk about when they work with me, is that how do I release people? Either people that are unhealthy, and that's a little bit different dynamic.
Sure, because you can't always be away from them in a work setting.
Exactly, or in a family setting. And both how to release yourself from them, how to release them, and how to not take those relationships personal, and the need to keep a boundary around yourself. People call it a bubble, where you can create a safe space from their words or interactions with that person, and still maintain whatever working relationship you need to have with them, or whatever personal relationship that you're up to with them. And most of that starts internally with us. I just came from a networking meeting, and they said, there was somebody there that said, don't take it personally. And that's easier said than done. That sounds so simple, not easy to do. And yet in those relationships, it is so important to know that somebody's speaking to you, behaving with you through their own filters, like we started our conversation with, and it's really not about you. They're mostly projecting themselves toward you versus seeing you and behaving with you as you. It's mostly a version of themselves, and that's a little tricky. It takes
You're not gonna
time to get
fix
used
that.
to. You're
not going to fix it. You're not going to be able to converse that away. There's, time is going to have to pass, and just the consistency of how things need to be, and things will eventually fall into place. I believe. I'm an idealist. I'm a crazy idealist, and I always have been. And that's been,
And things usually work out for you too, don't they?
But
Funny about that. My husband said, JoAnne, I really want a pair of those rose-colored glasses you wear.
Five me, girl. That's awesome. That's awesome. So here's the rose-colored glasses. So we're about to go to break, JoAnne, and I'd like you to mention the date and the location of your workshop coming up.
Well, I do a workshop that's a 3-hour workshop called Realize Your Dreams, in which people learn about the way to dream, the way to create a vision that allows the vision to be really emotionalized and really pull them into the future versus pushing a to-do list. And that is going to be offered here in Dallas on the March 30th at the Egg and I.
Okay, nice.
Which is at Addison.
Wonderful, wonderful. You'll learn a lot more about the Egg and I. They are a part of our membership directory. You can find that at offbeatbusiness.com, all their locations. They are wonderful, the local DFW area, for business meeting and business resources. So you know if you go to see JoAnne, you are going to get the very, very best.
And good food, too.
And good food. And they treat you so wonderful. These people are, they know me by name. They come in and take care of me, and it's pretty gracious, I have to say. So we are about to go to break. You can hear from some of our sponsors. You are listening to the Offbeat Business Show. We'll be right back.
Okay, we're clear. Sounds good. Which Egg and I location?
Addison.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll spell that out in a minute.
Okay.
all right, good. And from what time, then be sure to mention the time for that.
Okay.
Do you know when to win? Well, no, this is a tease, and so
Yeah,
later on.
lunch is at 11:30. We start at noon. We end at 3. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay,
Yeah, and it includes lunch, so I'll mention that.
So 11 to 3.
okay, good.
Do I need to say that it's listed on Eventbrite?
Okay,
You need
and
to,
mention that.
Yeah.
and they can search under my
The
name.
keywords that they pick up.
My
Where was
name.
that? Yeah, I heard it on Eventbrite. I'll look it up
Yeah,
there. So.
yeah.
Okay.
See, this is how comfortable it is to be on radio and to be using digital media in a video. So just know that whenever you see these little outtakes, this is what's going on right here in the studio. We're asking questions, we're talking. There's a lot going on in the space that you don't hear on our professionally produced audio. So just enjoy, and I hope that you follow suit and start bringing your phone and your iPad and start recording really great information.
And don't forget, you can always come to Pegasus Net
This is
Waves
true. And get it
done
for you.
here,
Mhm.
because we're talking with a very well-versed, well-experienced producer here.
Yes, sir, I will. You will be on my shows for March as well. So
I should mention I started out doing this on audio tape, the old days. I'm just plugging myself.
you should. You should. I love
I
you.
have to support 2 children and 5 kids.
Yeah, what's audio tape again? Refresh my memory.
All right, ready to rock and roll?
Yes.
Okay. Let's put some gin in this time.
Mm-hmm. And we're back. This is Susan Hamilton. You're listening to the Offbeat Business Show, where we represent the 80% of American small business that are family-owned businesses of 9 employees or less. That means we are building our businesses while we're raising our kids, taking care of our parents. We probably have a veteran in our family. We probably have an addict in our family. And so these are all things that really can mess up our focus in business and make us feel a little defeated, because largely legislation does not pay attention to the things that make up our lives in business. And we are developing a very strong voice to empower you and to magnetize you and bring you in to recognize that we are a force to be reckoned with, and you are one of us. So meet my friend JoAnne. If you've been listening earlier, JoAnne Marceau is here. We're talking about relationships. And she's got a lot to say about this, because she is a coach in this area and helps people navigate that space, and is going to be doing some workshops here in the Dallas area, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But JoAnne, thank you so much for showing up today and being a part of our lineup that we get to share.
Thank you. It's awesome being here. Fun. Very fun. Very wonderful. Thank you.
So what are some of the biggest successes that you see? What do you consider a success when you are hired to go into a business environment and help them? They're coming to you for what? And they give us a story. They're coming to you for something. They're leaving with after a
else.
session with you, hopefully reborn and renewed and refreshed. So tell us a little bit about what fires you up about that.
When business owners and business professionals come to me, they're usually very stuck. They've been doing things the same old way and getting the same old results. Albert Einstein says the thinking that created the problem is not the thinking that solves the problem.
Mm-hmm. Very good, very good.
And so how I work with clients is, over a period of time, you don't adjust your thinking in one session. So it's over a period of weeks that I work with people on adjusting their thinking, noticing the limited way they've been thinking, and then shifting into what's a more positive way of thinking. So the results that come out of that vary. It could be quantum business results. So I have had somebody who's 10x'd her distribution system, the people that work with her in distribution, in 6 months.
Nice.
So that's usually the result, and the result can be in any area of your life. So people come to me thinking they want business results, and then what ends up is they notice, just like we started with, that family life, something in the family life, is interrupting and getting in the way and distracting them
And how
from
often,
focusing on business.
I'm curious how often you see legislation getting in the way. Things of criminal justice nature with the addicts in our families. You know, those things are not managed well. It's much more about
Yes.
padded pockets than it is about due process. Taxation is ridiculous to try and do it yourself these days. If you don't have a tax professional, you're not devoting 100% of yourself to your business. I can promise you that. And even though you think you are because you're in it all the time, but you're not. You really need somebody in this day and age to manage that for you. Even in the healthcare, you better be getting some good advice on that. Your own research simply isn't enough. There's too much out there that someone who's well versed in this area can bring to the table. So, do you see anything in particular that might be something that our business owners are dealing with more than others?
Yes, mostly I see family.
Yeah.
And having, as you said, an addict or somebody who is compromised in whatever way, taking a large amount of time.
Yeah.
So whether it's
it really messes with your focus.
Yes, it messes with your focus. And that can even be what I see a lot is an aging parent. An aging parent who's taking a lot of focus, whether it's caregiving or visiting or really spontaneous needs, that it pulls people away from their business. And physically, just time as well as emotionally.
It is, and the resulting stress, that can start taking your health down.
Yes, absolutely. So we're holistic beings, so nothing gets isolated. You can't isolate business or personal or health and wellness from each other. We're holistic beings, and business is a part of that and comes into balance, although I don't believe there's any such thing as balance.
You know,
it's course correction.
Very few people admit that, but I don't either. I don't believe that there's anything, when you're living authentically, you are who you are in business, life, work, community. You know, that's to think those are two separate hats. No wonder you're driving yourself nuts. You're the same person. Just wear it.
Exactly. You are the same person. You wake up every day with that same hat on. Yeah. And we do get distracted by thinking that we need to be somebody other than who we are. Doesn't mean that there isn't the potential to evolve into the person you're becoming. That's a moment by moment experience, and you are authentically you. And that's the wonder of it, really, is that you also bring your unique gifts as a business owner, as a family person. You bring your own unique gifts into the world. That's why you're here.
Yeah.
And really owning that
Absolutely.
is a wonderful thing to support people in having the experience that they're just exactly who they need to be at the moment, and that's a good thing. Still room to grow, but where you are right now is a good place.
You know, if everything is going to be perfect when or then, you're really going to miss out on everything that your business has to offer this world, this community, your family. There's so much more, but if we are not enjoying that journey, we're not going to really ever achieve it. It'll always be something that'll happen someday, and someday, actually, believe it or not, is not on the calendar. Not there. Not there.
Love that.
I'm
not there.
You know,
and neither is the waiting date. I find a lot of people waiting until they're ready, and there is no such thing as that.
Right.
If you're waiting, you're going backwards, really.
Yes.
Things are progressing, and if you're waiting to figure out how to do it or figure out how to do it right, you're losing out.
And it's a different mindset, because just 2 generations ago, the language was, you know, oh, geez, I just had it and it flew right away. Has that ever happened to you? You know, but you're just responsible for it. If you don't have it, it's because you didn't go get it. You know, that's what we did. I mean, if we would have sat around and listened, you know, when Henry Ford, that's a big story, right? He came when nothing was going right. And I got to tell you, my many years in marketing, what frustrated me most is to be good at content and be good at copy. I had to know my people very well, and I had to know my business owners, and I had to know their customer base very, very well, or I couldn't do my job well. And it's my strong point. That's my skill set. That I do well there. But to learn that we all have those same kinds of struggles, the issue really is not what they think it is. The issue is so much deeper in recognizing that strength in their business. It gives them this opportunity to change all the things they hate anyway. If you're sitting at the table, if you're sitting at the sofa, and you're talking to people who know you, and you're well versed in something, you know it well. Oh, you know it well. and you don't take that into the workspace, you don't take that, you're missing out on what you're here for, because you are here to be a solution.
Yes, and the perfect customer out there, the client that really needs your services, misses as well. So it's almost as if unintentionally you're holding back by not giving your full gift. And when
It
you
is
look
true.
at it that way,
Mhm.
it's like, why wouldn't you not go out and share your gift and not wait until you get it right? And there are so many of us, myself included when I first started out, waiting until I knew how to do it. And the way that you know how to do it is to go out and do it. Now I have another saying that I love, which is action is the antidote. If you're in pain, if you're suffering, or you're not growing your business, action is the antidote.
I do love that. Forrest Ward, when I first started realizing that I needed to be speaking for my business, he's one of the very first men in this community who said, Susan, you really, what you're sharing, you have to tell people, and I want to give you an opportunity to speak in front of people and do this. And we were talking one time, and he's just a wealth of wisdom, and he says, so Susan, how do you become a photographer? And you think that means nothing, but he says you pick up a camera and you take a picture. That's exactly it. Action is the antidote. You've got to go forward and do it. If you wait for it all to be picture perfect and then I'll step into it, that's in effect saying what I hear so frequently, people saying, well, when legislation changes, then I'll do it. When somebody comes and solves this issue that's affecting me in business and on this legislative, whether it's criminal justice, healthcare, Veterans Administration, or taxation, all of those things that impact us in personal lives that we carry over into our business, all of that stuff. Don't say you don't have any impact in that area, because yes, you do. But you're going to have to realize what you're really bringing to the table and shine in that area. And when you do, your community really resounds to that, and you don't have to wait. You're part of that catalyst change to improve it at that moment.
Exactly. Yeah, you are the solution always. And the greatest part of that solution is being successful, going out,
It really
taking on
is.
that challenge. The greatest empowerment and the best way to make the change that you desire in the world is to be successful yourself.
I'm glad you said that, because there's an ongoing idea out there that is just too pervasive that says that I'm somehow humble if I'm living within if I've got enough to meet my needs, I'm doing all that I need to do, and that's really all I should expect. And I submit to you, that's not humility. That's foolishness. That's saying that I don't. That's saying I'm going to take my bag of talents and stick them under the sand, and I just refuse to use them in the community. And that's a very dangerous place to be. So no, you matter, friends. You matter big. And you know, you've got to reach out to JoAnne and get in on these workshops that she's doing. JoAnne, I'd like you to give us the title and the location of the workshop again coming up.
Great. It's called Realize Your Dreams. And it is March 30th, and it is at the Egg and I in Addison, Texas. And there's also an Eventbrite page for the workshop, and all you need to do is search under Realize Your Dreams, or you can search under my last name, which is spelled Marceau, and that will pop it right up on Eventbrite. And you can register right there online. There's an early bird special, and lunch is included in the workshop. So we'd love to have you there.
That works out really, really nice. JoAnne, how else can my audience reach you for coaching and things of that nature?
Beautiful. The easiest way is on my website. It's just the letter J, Marceau Coaching. And that is really the easiest way. There's a contact me page, and you can just fill that in, and that will deliver an email right to my email box. And if you leave your phone number, I'll call you. If you leave your email address, I'll email you.
You know, today's audience likes to get to know you a little bit on social media. So do you get out there in their space so that they can find you?
Yes, I do.
So you're on Facebook?
I am on Facebook. I have a personal page on Facebook. Again, all you need to do is type in my last name, and it'll pop right up. It'll be either me or Sophie Marceau. And
there's only two of you in America.
I'm not Sophie. I'm JoAnne. And I also have a fan page, which is under J Marceau Coaching. And I am out on Twitter, and it is Coach JoAnne.
All right.
Coach_JoAnne.
Well, I'm going to connect with you on Twitter.
Love that.
That's awesome. Okay, and you're going to find this information, friends, like you find anything else that you need to know from the Offbeat Business Show. You can find our videos, our audios, our lineups. all of our sponsor information, download your free app, and learn everything that you need to know about JoAnne coming up on offbeatbusiness.com. All right, so I hope I see you there. Definitely connect with us. And until next time, friends, we love you and wish you love and success. This is Susan Hamilton. You've been listening to the Offbeat Business Show.